all right, guys, shoot away, and then we'll do this live. Then you can ask separate questions if you want. And if you need me, I'm going to be outside of practice after this. So,
Wes, first question, I'm sure you've been asked it a million times now already, but what was the deciding factor for you when it came down to it?
There wasn't a huge, big factor, just one. There was a lot of different things, just building a relationship with Coach Beckman and Coach Cubit, and, I've always loved Illinois, and, you, as a kid playing in state, you want to play for your state school.
At the point you decided that you wanted to transfer and announced it, how quickly did the coaching staff at Illinois kind of get a hold of you and start this process?
Pretty quickly, as soon as they could, they were on me, and that's fun to see. You want that, especially if you're from Illinois and getting contacted by your school, state school.
Obviously, been a lot of national interest, regional interest in this. How has this process been for you emotionally after all the steps restricted where you could go and everything like that?
It's been pretty crazy. It's been a lot of fun, pretty stressful, but it's made me grow as a person.
Where did Illinois rank in your list right out of high school, when you're coming to your first decision?
To be honest, they weren't that high. I mean, at that point, I knew that coaching staff was really pretty much gone, and, I didn't really talk to, at the time, it was Petrino and Zook that much, so, to be honest, they weren't that high on my list.
One of the other things that, other guys recently who've looked at Illinois have said, even in this recruiting season, has been the unstable coaching, or the potential, with all the rumors out there, of the fluid situation, that they weren't sure if Illinois was the right place for them. Did you take that into consideration? Did you talk about that with the coaching staff there, or the AD, or anybody, and how much of a role did that play? Even though you did choose Illinois, did that?
Of course you look at that and you want to be with the same staff the whole time you're there, but unfortunately that's college football. Coaches are always moving on, trying to move up, or if they don't meet standards, they get cut. So that's part of it. I understood that when I made the decision, and I'm glad that I chose Illinois. And if they're not there, they'll be there. If they're going to be there as long as I'm there, I'm going to try to make sure of that.
Since Illinois was not very high on your list coming out of high school, why the switch to Illinois now? Why were they such a big player for you this time around?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, I just have always loved Illinois, and I grew up a huge fan, and I really like the coaches. Great enthusiasm and very passionate, and that really stuck out to me. They recruited me.
We can see the positives when we look at Louisville. They just won a Sugar Bowl. So that's there, and everyone thought he's leaning towards Louisville because of their success. So what were the positives specifically at the top of the list for Illinois?
Just playing in your home state. There's something about that that's special. Close, you can see family and friends like every game is really nice. It's great academics, unbelievable academics, and really grew a good relationship with coaches.
And I've got to think that Coach told you you're going to have a chance to start. I assume you expect to start. Was that discussed quite a bit?
Not really. Anywhere I go, I'm going to have to compete. I know that. I didn't leave OSU because I didn't want to compete. I made the decision for me, and I expect to compete wherever I go, and hopefully I become a starter. So.
How tough was the whole exiting process at Oklahoma State? I mean, you had done really well. The games that you had played early in the season, you were making national headlines. Did you kind of feel early on in the season that was really your home? And at what point did you kind of feel like, maybe we need to part ways?
OSU will always be a home. It was a special place for me. I have friends there, and I'll always keep in contact with some of the players and coaches. And it was really hard to say goodbye to them, and it'll always be home for me, a special place in my heart, and it was tough leaving.
How frustrating was the entire situation, especially to start out with all the blocking of certain schools, you can only visit some. How frustrating was that to be a part of that?
It was frustrating, but I got over it quickly because that was the hand being dealt to me, and the God's playing for me, and I made the best of it.
And how much has Coach Leonard helped you in this situation?
He's helped me a lot. I can't talk to coaches. When you get the release, you can't talk to them, but they can contact coaches, and if they talk to Coach Leonard, I'm sure his phone was ringing off the hook all the time. So.
When did you have that kind of sinking feeling in your stomach that, gosh, this isn't going to work out in Stillwater?
I probably didn't have that until after spring ball. You know, I kind of had doubts going into spring ball and had a positive attitude going into it, just trying to, you know, become a starter. But that didn't work out, so I decided to move on and talk to Coach Gundy about it.
Talk about the offense at Illinois and some of the things that you think you can really bring to that program, who's kind of taken a turn with Bill Cubitt now there.
Just the little I've seen, just watching spring highlights and stuff like that. You know, they throw their pass-happy offense. Coach Cubitt's done a great job wherever he's been. He's, you know, just looking at the Western Michigan quarterbacks, they threw for a ton of yards, which is, you know, fun to see as a quarterback. And like I said, it's going to take more than just one person. You know, we're going to have to get the tools around me and, you know, just work hard and continue to get better.
Are you starting to talk to some of your friends maybe in the football landscape, especially here in Central Illinois?
Yeah, I mean, I keep in contact with all those friends. You know, I got Dakota and Zach and so I've talked to them.
Maybe try and bring some of the, maybe especially some of the high school guys over to Illinois. You've been trying to.
I haven't. I just decided today, so I haven't really talked to anybody. But I know Malik from SHG is a big target Illinois once, and I'll be happy to call if they need me to.
Did you ever think about appealing the Oklahoma State decision to block you from 37 schools?
I did. I really did. But you know, that was a long process. That could have lasted all summer into August, and I might not have been able to choose a school until August. And you know, by then that's 2 days, and that's really when you learn the offense and get acclimated with the team. And so, by that standard, I just after I knew that, I didn't want to do it.
This whole season, you know, you got the summer, the fall. What are you going to do moving forward? You can't play, but how much going forward can you do to get ready for your season with Illinois?
Just learning the offense, just getting acclimated with the team, you know, making friends, building relationships, and just always being in the film room, getting better. You know, I know I'll be running like the scout team, you know, going against a Big Ten defense every day will help me. So.
You said it doesn't just take one guy, but do you feel like that you have a chance now? A lot of people have seen you as the savior, Wes. I know that sounds weird, and that's a lot on your shoulders, so you don't have to think of it like that. But do you feel like you have a chance to help Illinois do something great in a time when they're struggling a lot?
You know, of course you want to think you can, and it's not a one-man team, I know that, but if I can help Illinois in any way, I will, and I will try as hard as I can to get the best people around us. You know, we already have a great coaching staff set there, and you know, we're going to try to make them stay and continue to get better.
What's something you learned? Sorry, Matt. What's something you learned in the 1 year you had at Oklahoma State? Obviously, there were some injuries, but what's something you can take away from that? And when you get there in 2014, your first start, you can say, "I learned that then."
Probably just being a student athlete, being a college student athlete. You know, that's a lot to take in your first year, and especially when you're playing. It was pretty crazy. So, you know, I think I'll just be more comfortable being a student athlete and, you know, knowing the ups and downs that it takes to be a quarterback.
Wes, when did you talk to Coach Beckman, and what did he have to say to you when you told him about your decision?
I called him this morning, and, you know, he was very happy and just said, you know, we're going to do it together, and, you know, that was really it. Just he was very excited, and, you know, I'm sure I'll talk to him tomorrow.
I think this is my last question.